Welcome back to Microverse. In the previous lecture, we discussed the historical background of a microbiology and understood why ancient theories of disease remain accepted before microorganisms were discovered. Today, we will continue our journey by discussing the scientist whose observation revealed an entirely new microscopic world. His work marks the true beginning of a microbiology as a scientific discipline. So let's begin with an Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. Before understanding his scientific contribution, it is important to know who Antonie van Leeuwenhoek was. Leeuwenhoek was born in 1632 in the city of Delft in the Netherlands. Interestingly, he was not a physician, a university professor, or even a professional scientist. He worked as a Dutch cloth merchant, where magnifying lenses were routinely used to examine the quality and waves of fabrics. Although his profession was unrelated to medicine, his curiosity about lenses gradually led him towards scientific observation. This demonstrates an important fact about scientific discovery. It is often driven by curiosity rather than profession. As his interest in optics increased, Leeuwenhoek began manufacturing his own lenses. Instead of using complex instruments, he designed simple single lens microscopes. Although these microscopes appeared small and uncomplicated, they produced remarkably high magnification for that period. This allowed him to observe objects that had never been seen by the human eye. At this stage, it is important to remember that Leeuwenhoek was not trying to discover microorganisms. His goal was simply to observe nature in greater detail. However, scientific discoveries are sometimes made while searching for something entirely different. Using his handmade microscope, Leeuwenhoek examined a variety of everyday materials. This includes rainwater, pond water, saliva, scrapings collected from his own teeth. During this observation, he noticed tiny living organisms moving actively within these samples. Since nobody had ever described such organism before, Leeuwenhoek referred to them as animalcules, meaning little animals. Today, based on our current understanding of microbiology, we know that many of these microorganisms were bacteria and protozoa. This was the first recorded observation of living microorganisms in human history. Now let us pause for a moment and appreciate the significance of this discovery. Before Leeuwenhoek's observation, the existence of microorganisms was completely unknown. People believed only that they could observe with the naked eye. Leeuwenhoek demonstrated that an entirely new world existed beyond normal human vision. This single observation changed the direction of a biological science forever. For the first time, scientists realized that countless living organisms existed in water, on surfaces, and even within the human body. Another remarkable aspect of Leeuwenhoek's work was scientific documentation. He carefully recorded his observations and communicated them through more than 500 letters sent to the Royal Society of London. These letters enabled other scientists to verify his findings and stimulated further research into microscopic life. This highlights an important principle of a science. A scientific discovery becomes meaningful only when it is accurately observed, carefully documented, and communicated to the scientific community. At this point, students often develop a common misconception. Many believe that Leeuwenhoek discovered the cause of infectious disease. That is not correct. His contribution was not proving that microorganisms cause disease. His contribution was demonstrating that microorganisms exist. This distinction is extremely important because later scientists, particularly Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch, would build upon this discovery to explain where microorganisms came from and how they cause disease. Therefore, when we call Anthony van Leeuwenhoek the father of microbiology, we are recognizing him as the scientist who first opened the door to microscopic world. Before we conclude today's discussion, remember one simple memory cue. Leeuwen looked first. Whenever I hear the name Leeuwenhoek, immediately associated with the first observation of a living microorganism. This simple association will help you remember his contribution throughout your medical studies. So, today's discussion answered one important scientific question. Do microorganisms really exist? Thanks to Leeuwenhoek's observation, the answer was yes. However, another question still remained unanswered. Where do these microorganisms came from? For many years, scientists believed that the living organism could arise spontaneously from non-living matter. So in our next lecture, we will discuss how Louis Pasteur challenged this belief through the famous Swan neck flask experiment and established the principle of biogenesis. Thank you for learning with microwords. Keep learning, keep growing, and let's master microbiology, one concept at a time.